Silver has finally made her way to the Cursed Apple as the third most voted hero. She has two forms, the human form and the werewolf form, and her werewolf form is a bit of a doozy. So most people expected her to have the ultimate that transforms her into a werewolf, but maybe we weren't expecting that form to replace all her abilities with new werewolf-specific ones. Let's get into the weeds and see how this character works. We're going to start off with her human form and eventually get into how she actually goes into being a werewolf. Her first ability is called Slam Fire. It instantly reloads her gun, gives bonus fire rate, bonus weapon damage, based on your target's health, but only for a limited number of shots. It also reduces the accuracy of her gun. I'll take this time to also point out her gun works like Abrams, in that she can fire it even in the midst of reloading. So while her reload does take a while, you can start shooting at, say, 2 out of 5 bullets loaded, or of course use this ability to instantly fully reload. The upgrades for this ability are number 1, minus 4 second cooldown, 2, plus 30% weapon damage, and finally, when she hits all her shots, it deals plus 10% current health as damage. Her 2 is called Boot Kick. She dashes forward and kicks the first enemy she makes contact with, dealing melee damage and pushing her off while marking them. Shooting the marked target deals spirit damage and then removes the mark. This ability obviously has more use than just the damage. While you may be thinking of ways to close distances and get involved faster in team fights, you may also have to think of how to use the camera when using boot kick. If you were to simply let your camera stay forward while boot kicking, it does the basic, what you think it does. However, if you swivel the camera fast enough during, kind of just before the actual boot kick connects, suddenly you go from simply bouncing off of a hero and knocking them back a little bit to actually fully moving the opponent, whatever direction you swivel your camera to. So this could be used to push an opponent into your team or away from safety if you do it correctly. You can also point the camera down and give yourself a pretty high jump for some verticality. So this can be very useful. In a way, it almost can become like a pull if you are able to do this reliably. The upgrades for this ability are 1, minus 6 second cooldown, 2, on a hero hit, Silver restores 2 stamina of her own, so she can be very mobile with this, and 3, on hit, the opponent receives minus 25% damage for 5 seconds. Her 3 may sound familiar. It's called Entangling Bola, just because Bola is already a weapon that Viper also uses. And since there's a voice line from Silver that insinuates Silver is the one who keeps putting Viper in jail, maybe Viper actually got the bolas from Silver, or the idea to use bolas, I don't know. Silver throws a bola, which also has unlimited range, by the way, and it deals spirit damage, applies a slow, and prevents movement abilities, stamina usage, and jumping. The upgrades for the ability are minus 25% move speed. The second one is a 0.75 second debuff duration. And then third, it ricochets to 2 additional targets. Finally, for her ultimate, this is the big one. The Werewolf. Once you upgrade your ult, you get a passive. Silver builds Bloodlust by dealing damage, especially if she's at low health. When she's maxed out on Bloodlust, which you can keep track on by actually looking at the ult icon itself, she turns into a werewolf. You don't activate it, she just turns into a werewolf. So this is kind of where the curse of being a werewolf really comes in. You don't get to pick and choose when to use your ult. When she is a werewolf, she gets increased max health, move speed, stacking fire at enemy heroes, and all of her abilities get replaced. Her weapon does too. No werewolf holding a shotgun, whatever it is. We'll go into her new abilities and weapon in a second, but the upgrades first for this ultimate are, number 1, plus 15% bullet and resistance, spirit resistance. Number 2, plus 3 meters per second move speed addition and 125 bonus health. And then 3, on killing a hero, refresh abilities duration and transformation heal. So if you're on a run of killing a bunch of opponents, you just stay in werewolf form. This already might sound a little familiar to another hero, but we're going to get into that a little down the line. All right, so now when you're a werewolf, your weapon is now your claws, which are like a kind of longish melee distance, but don't actually count as melee. As in, your opponents won't be able to parry your weapon, but if you do melee as a werewolf, of course they can parry that. Here are your abilities. Your 1 is now called Go for the Throat. Deal melee damage in a frontal area of effect and receive a heal for a portion of the damage dealt. The lower their health, the more damage you do. The upgrades for this: 1, plus 3 damage, 2, plus 25% lifesteal, and 3, plus 5% missing health as damage. Her second ability is called Mauling Leap. Lunge forward, and whoever you hit first takes melee damage. They also get reduced bullet resist and take a spirit damage over time, so a spirit dot. The upgrades for this are 1, plus 10 damage per second on that dot, 2, minus 9-second cooldown, and 3, minus 12% bullet resist. Her 3 is now called Tail Whack. She deals spirit damage to enemies all around her. They also get disarmed and are briefly slowed. The upgrades are as such: 1, plus 25 damage, 2, minus 40% move speed, and 3, plus 1 second disarm duration. And then, of course, her werewolf form doesn't have an ult because it is her ult, yeah. Alright, so now that everything has been explained, let's talk about her place in Deadlock. I've actually played a couple of games against her at this point, and can say she doesn't seem all that scary in her regular old human form. Just coincidentally, I've played 2 games, and I was laning against her both times, and they didn't do very much. But she's a new character, and maybe they just weren't very good. Who knows? But even if they weren't very good and they were low on souls, once she turned into a werewolf, yeah, that's when it really hurts. Since both of her forms have ways of closing gaps, when she does transform, it's very hard to simply run away from her. I tried, and then I only barely got away because a Bebop actually hooked her away. So once she's on ya, she starts to really maul ya. She also gets her transformation rather often, so it sort of feels like whenever you engage Silver, you're on a bit of a timer, which I imagine gets worse as the game goes on. She does more damage, and so on and so forth. She is clearly meant to get into the thick of things, brawling in the pit of a hero battle, using all of her abilities to deal damage, reduce opponents' damage output, and lessen the resistances of the enemies. This probably means that she'll be a bit hard to play for newer players or those who just aren't used to playing brawlers. In many ways, she is like Shiv, and I mean that as in her gameplay, but also her lore. She has a rage meter, except it's called Bloodlust, and it doesn't pop up as a meter, but it's, it's still something that you can track. And she's definitely scariest when it maxes out. In her case, when she turns into a werewolf, in Shiv's case, when his rage meter is completely full. Shiv also has a few voice lines directed at him about a secret, such as the patron saying, "Shiv, the monster inside you is not the beast, it is ambition." Drifter also says,
"If you hadn't put yourself in a muzzle, maybe I'd be worried."
Taunting him, obviously. So basically, the theory is that maybe Shiv used to be a werewolf or some type of other curse turned into a monster thing that did bad stuff. And maybe he got it under wraps, perhaps with that vial on his belt. And, well, now he's part of the Baxter Society, a club that hunts monsters. But even then, you can tell that with the voice lines and all that, that the rest of the Baxter Society doesn't really trust him or like him that much. From Silver's voice lines to Shiv, it sounds like Shiv was pretty evil and is trying to turn over a new leaf, but Silver doesn't believe in that, quite literally. She says, "I don't give a shit what the Baxter Society says. People don't change." So maybe they both have the curse, but Shiv didn't handle it well until it was completely contained. Whereas Silver tells Hayes that she has the lycanthropy thing basically under control, just not her general degeneracy. It's a great line. Anyway, lore aside, Shiv and her might have a similar background, but it's really going to have to be explored a lot more. She, as a character, clearly has got some interesting things. I mean, the fact that she has 2 kits already makes her gameplay interesting. So now that you've seen her in action and know all of the abilities, what do you think of the new hero? Do you think that she's going to be fun to play? Are you looking forward to playing her? I think that she'll probably be fun to play once I actually get my hands on playing her in a real game, but as we all know, that it's difficult to do when they are first released. After so much anticipation, people thinking she was going to be voted in first and then second and then finally only as third, it does seem like the community is pretty happy with her release, so don't take my little grumpy old person like, "Oh, her animation's not that great," deter you from giving her a go. She'll probably be very fun to play and getting in the thick of the action and being a brawler and always turning into a werewolf, I'm sure. Who are you hoping to be released Thursday? That's going to be our 4th character coming out in just a couple of days. I'm not exactly sure who I want to be released, but I'm just basically voting for anyone since I already am pretty happy with the releases that we've got. Let me know what you want in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in Deadlock. Bye-bye.